Not saying I wasn't a part of it, but you know, there's a time to stop. You know what I mean? When you wake up, realize, and that's what my book is about. It symbolizes that. It symbolizes me growing up. So, you know, a lot of people didn't take it serious at first when I started speaking about it, but I talked that book into existence. You understand? I made everybody hear about it. I told everybody I could, but everybody didn't believe me until they saw it. And then from there, I just pretty much took off. Took off.
Yeah, I was pleased. You know, we all went down, all four of us went down to Philadelphia to the celebration of Black Writing that they have at Temple University, sponsored by the, what is it called, the Art Sanctuary. And they do a great job down there. And so the audience wasn't as big as as it's been in the past, let's put it that way, but it's still an audience. And you guys got a chance to get up on that stage, and I remember thinking to myself, this is what it's all about, you know, because I mean, you know, people need to hear you no matter where you are. And the crowd responded. You could tell people really heard you. It doesn't matter if you're in Philadelphia, Harrisburg, wherever you are. The message that you guys are giving, I think, is a message that has universality to it, especially in certain communities. So now and also we're on our way to the Harlem Book Fair. You know, and that's going to be your first time experiencing that. Is that right?
Yes, that is.
Okay. Yeah.
I heard about it, but I'm going to experience it firsthand.
Yeah. Well, Pat and I have been blessed to go many years to go up everything. In fact, we had Terry D on not so long ago, and Terry D happens to be oldest daughter, Pat, my stepdaughter, and she has put out a wonderful novel and will be featured there at the Harlem Book Fair with along with Janita Jackson, who's a publisher and everything, doing great works. So it'll be a good experience for you guys, and I just can't wait for you to get there and check it out, you know, and see what it's all about and all that kind of stuff. So let's get to some poetry. Who wants to go first? It doesn't matter to me. You want to do one first, Edward? Okay. Yeah, why don't you do one? Okay, why don't you do it?
I'll go.
Okay, good, Julie.
Right. I'll go with a poem that kind of describes one avenue of my book. Like I said, there's 50 poems in this book, and it's versatile, so I'll give you this one. It's called In My Society. In my society, there's choices of destruction and variety. I always felt like the rules never applied to me. In my society, the path to success is rarely taken, and the young boys lose their fathers and they feel forsaken. In my society, precious young girls evolve to whores, and all we see is closed doors because the open is crowded. In my society, some days I ask God how he could allow this, but I guess he wouldn't give us one thing that we couldn't handle. Caught up in our lifestyles in the midst of a scandal. In my society, it isn't safe to walk the streets. There's robbers, there's thieves, the underachieved. Money's the only subject. People's eyes filled with greed in my society.
Wow.
Powerful.
Powerful.
Good. And that's in the book, right?
That's in the book. Yes, it is.
Yes,
that's one of the poems that I bring out a lot when I'm speaking. So.
Okay, good. Edward, why don't you rock us with one as well?
Let's see, I'll do one of my signature poems. Title of this poem is called Righteous Homicide. And just to give you a little bit about it, it just talks about a situation in my life where I made a change and I decided to make a choice and a decision. And it's kind of an allegorical poem, so I'll just get started. I have a confession. See, I'm a witness to a death. My thoughts victim to suppression. He's taken his last breath. But I don't fear being arrested because see, this man, he deserved to die. And in case you haven't guessed it, I'll explain my reasons why. See, it began some years back when I was just a boy, keeping my family intact, playing with my parents like a toy. See, he made promises to us kids that he never intended to keep and brought pain through the things he did, but refused to allow us to weep. And my parents, they couldn't ask for help. They swore they didn't need, running away from the things they felt, unknowingly planting a seed. And pursuing these promises of pleasure, see, I handed him my life, thinking I'd unlocked a treasure, only my wealth was chaos and strife. And after the smoke had vanished, it only unleashed my hurts. The things in life I tried to banish came back only 10 times worse. He tricked me with his morbid lies and vowed to diminish my pain. And not listening to my inner cries, my emotions drove me insane. So woe to those he's hurt before. No longer shall you worry. See, I've killed him, and this I'm sure. This demon I must bury. But this isn't a life that died, but more like lives I've spared. Can't get back the tears we've cried, or the people who used to care. Yeah, there's blood on my hands, but see, in war there is no truce. So I hope all y'all can understand why I had to kill my drug abuse.
Very good, very good. Yeah, good stuff, both of you, man. My Society and
Righteous Homicide.
Righteous Homicide.
Should have
Good
fixed the
stuff.
streets since we was talking about that when we
Yeah,
began.
go ahead and do the streets for us. Go ahead, break it down. Yeah, because one of the things that I would say is that, and by the way, let me show this little booklet here while Julian's pulling that out. This was a booklet that was produced through the Harrisburg School District's after-school program. In the Writers' Workshop, we do a program there, and then I was able to meet both Julian and Edward. And they came in, and basically, the works that you see in this book, most of it coming actually out of Julian's class, but a lot of it also coming out of Edward's class. And this was really, really a good effort. And it was called Poems, Prose, Stories. The kids got a chance to be published authors, you know, so we were really happy to have participated in that. And that, you know, came up out of those pieces. But the streets piece.
The streets. The streets. I wrote this poem because on my street there's a lot of the younger kids that, I don't know, they've been through some things. I'm not going to take that away from them, but my aim is to steer them away from that path. So I made this poem for them. The streets are cold. They're not meant for the weak. No disrespect to anyone, but not everyone can survive in the streets. When the rain falls down, it's never a drizzle, just storm after storm. That I can warn. Friendships are an option that I don't always suggest, because trust isn't an option. It could cost you death. In the streets, you'll learn to survive on your own. The streets are so cold, they have a mind of their own. The streets have the keen smell of a K9 cop. They can smell fear. The streets are attentive. They can see and hear. The streets talk and they spread your business fast. Stay quiet in the streets and then maybe you can last. The streets will eat you up and spit you out. If you go deep into the streets, there's a chance that you'll never get out. The language of the streets are well unspoken but comprehended. In the underworld, the opportunities are endless. No telling where you can be in a matter of a year's time. In the streets, always remember it's a priority to stay on your grind. Never let a soul take your kindness for weakness. There's no time. You have to always remember to keep people in line. Because like a shark smells blood in the currents of the ocean, they will surely prey. There's darkness in these streets. There's no time to play.
Nice.
That's the streets.
That's the streets.
And that's the truth, huh?
That's the streets,
That's-
and everybody knows that's been there.
It's been there, man. It's been there, yeah. And a lot of young people, they don't get that. They think that, you know, been in there.
It's not a joke.
Well, I also know that my husband also has come out with a new updated version of a poetry book called
Oh, it's called, it's called the By Any Words Necessary.
Great